What are secrets of married couples that they don't tell anyone? Resentment ends love. If you have an issue, sort it out ASAP. Also, privately, I'll never understand people who insult their partners in front of other people or have their arguments in public. Like, I understand the need to process issues with a friend or your mom, and it's important to do that, but I have lots of friends who just casually insult their partners to other people as a joke. I'm all for a little laughter about our spouse's foibles, but I would never use my partner as the butt of a joke or say something rude to or about them in public. We are a team. I chose to hitch myself to this man for life. Why on earth would I want to give everyone the impression he's an incompetent butt? Well, I guess some people are just pre-gaming for the divorce announcement. Gotta soften the landing with a few years of public insults. Huh. Story 2. Mutual respect and kindness. It doesn't have to be grand gestures, it's the little things. If your partner makes you a coffee, say thank you, and vice versa. Always appreciate the small things. Communicate. Make time to talk to each other about your day. For instance, when you're both home from work, spending time telling each other what happened. Most importantly, talk through problems before they escalate. The silent treatment is truly a silent ender of relationships. Intimacy. Never stop dating each other. Flirt, touch, and smooch as often as you did when you were first dating. Trust. Remember that you are their person and they are yours. Be their safe space and their best friend. Story 3. How important it is that you both keep trying to show up as your best selves. Not perfect, but aware, the ones who know where they end and the other person begins. It's dangerously easy in marriage or any long partnership to dissolve into the plural, to start speaking in we and us instead of I and me, until one day you can't quite remember what used to make you feel most alive on your own. There's a kind of romance in that erosion, but I've seen that there is also a quiet tragedy. The secret, I think, is to keep tending to your own fire, to hold on to the parts of you that exist outside the marriage, the hobbies, the passions, the things that light you up and make you feel good, all the bits that make you, well, you. Because that's what keeps the air moving between two people. That's what keeps it an open door. We're choosing to be in this together rather than a sealed room. It's harder to do when you have kids, of course, but I'd argue it's even more important then. It's also practical. When you stay grounded in yourself, you know you can survive on your own if you ever have to. You become stronger, steadier, more whole, and from that place you can actually add to what you're building together instead of losing yourself inside of it. Plus, it's hot as hell to see your partner show up for themselves, to watch them move through the world with that kind of self-respect. It's also why you see so many so-called glow-ups after divorce. People start redirecting all the energy they once poured into their relationship and SO back into themselves. They remember who they are or were outside of the relationship, and it shows. Story 4. It's not a compromise if one of you is unhappy about it. You need to find a solution that works for both people, always. Never expect perfection. People who say, I'll never do this or I'll always do that, mean it, but it's just unrealistic. Accept that genuinely trying is good enough even if the person sometimes fails. No one is perfect. If you have expectations, say it. Don't assume that your partner knows. If your birthday is important, if a conversation is essential, if you're setting a boundary, use clear words. Say, I need you to listen, or this is very important to me, or I need support, not solutions right now. Getting mad because your partner didn't read your mind is childish. Story 5. What happens to one of you happens to both of you. I went through some extremely serious life-threatening medical issues. I was mostly out of it for several years. My husband was not. He had to talk to doctors, get told over and over to prepare for the worst, and took charge of my care. I never truly got it until the shoe was on the other foot. He was strong for me because he didn't want to lose me. I never realized how much he did until I had to do it for him. I will never take him for granted again. Story 6. My dad once told me, as a child, my marriage and my wife comes first. If your mom and I don't have a good and stable relationship, it's going to be much worse for you than if we both spend all of our time doting on you and lose touch with each other. It was an interesting thought to me, even at the time. I have, over the years, seen so many people who seem to get so invested in all of their kids' stuff that they lose all time and energy for each other. Story 7. I'm F27, recently widowed with 3 kids. We were together for 7 years and we went through more than some people do in a lifetime. What kept us together and happy? Don't argue. We would shut up, go do something quietly and think it over, then come back and agree it was stupid and that we just didn't communicate well that time. Set boundaries in your relationship. Screw everybody else. Build for you two. Our religious beliefs conflicted with both of our families, but we didn't care, and it brought us closer together. Talk about the D word often. The only thing that kept me sane was the fact that we prepared for each other's passing. We put the fun at the funeral. That's what he wanted. We are very spiritual people, so we studied, prayed, and kept an open mind together. Experiment in that bedroom. If you like it, keep doing it. If you don't like it, act like it didn't happen. It's only between you guys. Might as well live it up. Whatever you do, do it without regret. We saw each other as kids, teenagers, broke college students, broke young adults to semi-well-off parents. Accept and learn from each phase and move on. Love can be enough because real love takes work. Be besties, don't just be romantic, be intimate. Talk crap, laugh about some gossip, and snack together. We were the only people who knew everything about each other. I used to be like, hey bestie, and he would put on a hair bonnet and be like, what's up girl? It was the best thing ever. Story 8. 2 failed marriages, but an absolutely amazing relationship happening now, and I can say, definitely be slow to anger and try not to blow up. Don't take everything that is being said as fighting words. Listen and respond in a calm manner. Don't be afraid to talk about awkward situations or issues that arise. Be ready to forgive. They're not perfect, they have their flaws and issues, but more importantly, so do you. Have a special morning routine or something you do specific for the other person. That can be just your thing, and the key is to keep it going every morning, even if you've had a really bad argument and are still salty. Keep the little things happening. For me, I get up at 5 a.m., make her coffee, get her stuff ready for the day, start the car, walk her out to the car, make out, hug her, and tell her I love her. Have a secret I love you action. Something simple that you can do at any time if you can't talk and you're in a meeting or something, and do it often. Treat them how you want to be treated in the best way. And guys, make sure she is fully satisfied more than just once and don't satisfy yourself first. Be affectionate in public if you both like that. Kiss, hold hands, whisper dirty things that you want to do to each other and maybe follow through when you get home or in the car. Take showers together, make out. Men, show appreciation for your partner. Let her know you find her beautiful and attractive. When she's getting ready or passing by, say something playful or sweet and express your affection in a caring way. Women, don't tell them to stop when they are doing this or downplay it. Lean into it. Model for him for a few seconds. Wiggle your butt. Do something to let him know you hear him and that you like it. Kiss and hug often. If you think you're doing it too much, then do it more. Always greet at the door if you can. Don't just shout out from another room, I'm in here. No, get up off your butt. If it's not massively important, go say hi and hug and kiss. Even if it's super important, make an excuse to do it. If you can't, as soon as you become available, make sure they know you're happy they're back. Do date nights. Even after you're in your relationship for years, keep doing date nights. Never stop this. Tell them how phenomenal they look when they just wake up or at random times throughout the day. Buy flowers, do cards, buy gifts just because it's a Wednesday. Praise them up in front of others and don't disagree in front of others. Outsider people don't need to know the hard parts of what you're going through. Show a united front. Don't tear each other down in public just for laughs. Don't tear each other down in private in a serious manner. Be prepared to laugh at yourself. Say some funny things in an argument. It sometimes lightens the load. Story 9. Compromise and communication are the real foundations. You're going to disagree on things, but being able to find that middle ground where you both come out ahead is what counts. Listen to understand, then respond to what they said. Do what works for the two of you. If it works that he stays home and she works, do that. If you're both happy being workaholics and spending holidays and vacations together only, then do that. If you can't stand his mess or her mess and want separate bedrooms, then do that. Whatever makes the both of you happier and healthier is what is best for your relationship, despite what anyone else may tell you. Story 10. I've been with my partner for 25 years. Here's what I've learned. It's a partnership. The goal is to make each other's lives easier. If there's something they hate doing and you don't care, you do it for them. Even if you hate doing it, you try to do it as much as possible. The whole point of a relationship is to just make daily life easier for the other person. Effectively, you both try to do 100% of the things everyone has to do, and then that means you're both picking up the slack for each other. You should strive to be the person in their life who annoys them the least. Also, it's the little stuff that matters far more than the big stuff. Do little things for them that give them joy. Do it for no other reason than to give them joy. Make sure to be genuinely interested in what they love. You don't need to have the same passion, but make sure that you don't ruin something they love with your presence. Be aware of how you talk to and about the person you love. There are going to be times you're frustrated and angry at them. There are going to be times when you don't want to be around them. Regardless, remember that they're the center of your life and you need to keep it all in perspective. Maintain your intimate life and be good, giving, and game. After 25 years with my partner, the crazy passion of youth fades. You're going to get into routines, your drive changes. As you get older, life will make it hard to find time to have intimacy. Don't let it. Make plans for it and schedule it if you need to. Sometimes you'll literally schedule it for Sunday at 2 p.m. It doesn't sound romantic, but if your routine disrupts spontaneity, then you have to make sure it happens. Be willing to explore your intimate lives together. Make sure you're compatible and be willing to try new things. Don't have kids unless you both actually want them. Don't have kids because you're having trouble in your marriage. Kids won't save your marriage if it's already bad. Have kids because you want to raise kids together. If you just want to have something to care for, get a pet or a garden together. Don't have kids only to screw them up. Have your own things. It's important to have things that are just yours, and the other person should be able to let you go do them. You need time to yourself and be with your friends. It's important too. I'm a huge RPG and miniature gamer. My wife encourages me to go do my hobbies. I encourage the same. All your hobbies and interests don't have to line up perfectly. That doesn't mean you won't participate, but it's okay if you both have hobbies the other isn't into. Story 11. Date with eyes wide open, be married with eyes half shut. Meaning, be really picky while you're dating, pay attention to the little things that you don't like and move on. But once you're married, let it go. You decided this person was to be your partner, so those little things are part of the package. Obligatory note that cruelty, of course, is never acceptable, and that if you were lied to, that's on them for deceiving, not on you for being deceived. Leave those situations as soon as it is safe. But sometimes self-advocacy takes care of careless slights. Don't take offense where none is offered. Story 12. Marriage isn't 50-50, it's 100% all the time. I've been with my wife over 45 years. A few things that have made our relationship 100% better. Know that everything I do and say can and will affect her, and everything she says can and will affect me. We think about our relationship first. 100% transparency in everything. Never allowing either one of us to be in or placed in compromising situations. Our relationship trumps everything and anything. If it or any person doesn't 100% support our relationship, then it's out. Stress does nothing but destroy a relationship, so why allow it? Story 13. If you're married and thinking about having children, having kids and parenting really changes your relationship. Be ready for it and be sure to make an effort to stay close to each other. After your kids are not babies and you think your marriage has calmed down a bit, you might find out that your relationship with your spouse is not in a good place. Learn from this and repair the marriage. Of course, the both of you love your kids, help each other with the kids, the house, and all the necessities of raising a family. But don't forget to love each other and make sure you're maintaining that connection. Story 14. A few for me. Own your own feelings, but try to see things from the other person's perspective when you have a conflict. Be nicer to your partner than you are to anyone else. Talking about serious and difficult things together is a skill. Get good at it. Make an effort to notice the good things they do and comment on them. Pay attention to when you hurt their feelings. Lean into hobbies, experiences, interests that make them happy. It's okay to sit next to one another and not say anything. Story 15. They're not your best friend. They are your spouse. It's a totally different relationship. Hopefully you have other friends and maybe a best friend. That's your best friend. My advice is if you have trauma, PTSD, or lots of issues from your past, who doesn't have some, get help so your marriage isn't a constant battle internally and externally. If you're walking around like a hammer, everything is a nail. Therapy, medication, and working through it together is the trick. Story 16. Getting married is an exercise in discovering that other people are messed up in some ways just like you. Over time, you learn to accept and integrate these aspects of them, and they eventually become part of the reason you love them, or at the very least, they create the contrasts in their personality that lead you to genuinely understanding them. Some of those things might have sent you off running if you had realized in the early days, but the slow reveal is part of a long-term relationship because nobody reveals themselves entirely right up front. Hell, they might not even be aware of a lot of it. Either way, if you're self-aware and have genuine love for them, then you will show them acceptance, and it's that acceptance that leads to another level of love for them that only comes with time and provides the perspective to understand how they process the changes in life you experience together. Story 17. Just like the 1-minute manager, praise in public, reprimand in private, always be an advocate for your spouse. We do the normal and minor complaining about each other among our friends, but never talk about serious issues outside of the two of us. Communicate and compromise. It's not about winning or losing. When you disagree, sometimes you get your way, sometimes your spouse gets their way. You compromise because you want each other to be happy, not to be the only happy person. Story 18. I've been married for 36 years, and here's what I learned from my point of view. Always respect each other, especially in front of other people. This was never an issue, but I learned that the respect I show her reflects the respect I have for myself. She has never teased me in front of other people. Learn to communicate respectfully and truthfully without blame. Don't let things get so bad that you are yelling at each other. Get professional help for this if necessary. Figure out the house account, and then each of you has a small personal account. Mine is for my hobbies, buying presents, so I'm not spending house money on gifts, and other stuff that I don't need affecting our bills. Have a space in the house that's yours. Sometimes a person just needs space to think and work things out. I also need space for my hobbies. It's just a small desk, but she doesn't tell me what I can or can't keep there. She has her own as well. You don't have to have shared hobbies, but it helps if you support theirs. It shows that you get them. If you can't tell your partner what you're doing, who you're hanging out with, or where you've been, you probably shouldn't be doing it in the first place. Don't be afraid of counseling. It helps. We went to counseling after 10 years, and now we've been together for 36. When you have a disagreement, consider this. Do you want to be right or be in a relationship? I'm not saying to give in or lie. I'm saying to consider a compromise and don't let your ego get in the way. One way to end an argument is to say, yeah, you could be right. Learn to see both sides. Story 19. I heard an interview with a couple who had been together for a very long time. They said the secret is that you stay. This resonated with me. There have been times when I wanted to leave and times when my husband wanted to leave. Fortunately, we have never felt that way at the same time. Both of us are very glad we stuck it out because the ups and downs are very natural. I'm not suggesting that anyone tolerate physical or emotional cruelty. The other key is respect. If you don't respect your partner and they don't respect you, then why bother? Finally, I've learned that all of my relationships are far better when I don't offer unsolicited advice and I keep my opinions to myself. I have been with my husband for 33 years, and today, after raising our children, our relationship is better than ever. Story 20. Don't stop dating your spouse. Be intentional about spending time together, just the two of you, regularly. It doesn't have to be anything fancy or expensive. Take a walk together, go out for coffee, turn off the TV, and play a game together. It's an easy way to stay connected when life and kids and work get overwhelming. My partner and I go out one night a week to a coffee shop and play cribbage for an hour or so. We drink coffee, talk about anything that comes to mind, and roast each other over our flirting skills. No matter how crappy the week gets, we have that to look forward to. And be kind to your partner. Don't forget to say please and thank you. It's easy to skip the little pleasantries when you've been with someone for a long time. We're always on our best behavior with other people and often feel we can relax and drop some of the niceties with our spouse or partner. Are you getting a refill on your coffee? Get one for him too. Do you know she hates stopping at the dry cleaner? Swing by on your way home. Learn to communicate with each other. Get help with that if you're struggling. Remember that disagreeing with you is not a personal attack. Learn to compromise. Learn to let go and stop keeping score. Remember that you're a team. It's the two of you against everything else. Married 39 years this winter. Story 21. A lot more married couples have counseling than admit it. My husband used to think that marriage counseling causes divorce because divorced people tend to say they got counseling before getting divorced. And people who stay married don't talk about having gotten counseling. So he thought if you get counseling, it means you can't handle your problem yourself, and therefore you're going to get divorced. Nope, it means most married couples don't advertise the fact that they got counseling. Michelle Obama mentioned it in her memoir, one of the few. Story 22. You don't have to spend every minute of your free time together. It's better if you don't. I often want to read or play my PlayStation when she wants to watch something I have no interest in watching, like Bridgerton for the 20th time. She watches in our room with the door open while I'm in the living room doing whatever I want. She was raised a bedroom child, me a living room child, with the door open so we can still talk to one another when we want to. Another thing is transparency, not honesty. Honesty is telling the truth when asked. Transparency is being open about everything all the time. And if you're enjoying the video, don't forget to hit that subscribe and like button for more videos just like this. Story 23. A marriage needs privacy and space to breathe. That means not sharing every detail, positive or negative, with family or friends. Don't publicly embarrass or humiliate your spouse with private jokes and moments. Don't do it to your children either. Allow big impact news to exist between only you for a while instead of immediately revealing something like a baby. Don't invite outsiders to meals, the home, on vacations, or weekend plans without first running it by your spouse. And don't throw a tantrum when they say no. Some marriages end because they suffocated under outside influence that was being enabled by one spouse. Story 24. Always leave pebbles that she may not thank you for, but you know she loves you for. Get a small coloring book and make her a piece of art. Sign it with the date and a little personal note. Give her a duck, like the ones that Jeep enthusiasts love, and put it in her lunchbox, or even better, put it on the hood of her car for the morning commute. Make sure she always has snacks and food she can munch on when she just doesn't know what she wants to eat. Grab her butt, occasionally. Story 25. I've heard plenty of times that the spark/passion that is there at first cools down to a solid, comfortable friendship. What no one ever told me is that it can come back even stronger. The peaks and valleys of marriage over a lifetime is something I never conceived of. It's something you never experience dating because when you're dating and you end up in a valley, that's the end. About 9 years into our marriage, 5 years ago, my husband and I really did fall in love again. Butterfly, giddy love. We're back in more of a solid friends with benefits zone, but now that we've had that experience once, I know we can get there again if we ride it out and pay attention. Marriage is cool. Story 26. Sometimes you just need to connect intimately to reset. I'm serious. When you are both on edge and getting annoyed about everything, you probably just need to reconnect. And then as you lie there gathering your sense of reality and breath, you realize you don't actually care much about what the other person was doing. As you get older, busier, and add kids and work drama to the mix, intimacy becomes one of those things you either can't do or skip because of time and stress. This, ironically, adds stress because it is a natural stress reliever, that is, if you picked a good partner. You'll sleep better, feel better, and again, you won't sweat the little things. Physical intimacy is a part of marriage. I don't care what any made up religious text or cultural thing you were taught says. Take the no intimacy before marriage idea, for example. When that was written down, people got married like Romeo and Juliet after 3 days, not like today where people date for years. People have natural desires and that is normal. So when you put that natural release on the back burner for life, which happens, you get antsy and sometimes easily frustrated. So if you are ever looking at your partner and you hate how they breathe and sound when there isn't a legit reason to be angry like lying or infidelity, then just reconnect intimately and ask, do you still hate them that much? Poor intimacy will have the opposite effect though, so hopefully you chose a good partner. Story 27. Sometimes you have to let the little things go, especially when it's the kind of thing where there isn't a right way to do it. It's just that you would have done it differently. The way my partner organized our kitchen feels completely illogical to me, but he's the primary cook of the family, so I let it go. You also aren't going to like absolutely everything about your partner. They will have some habits that annoy you. My partner hates how messy my nightstand is, always full of books, vitamin bottles, lotion, usually a glass of water, but it's on my side of the bed, so he lets it go. Some things don't have to be a fight. They're mildly annoying. It's not worth letting them become an argument or something you're resentful over. Story 28. In 11 and a half years, my husband and I truly almost never argue. Sure, we will disagree or butt heads on something, but we've never really gotten into big arguments, and I think a big reason why is I will actually go to bed mad rather than get into what I'm upset about in the heat of the moment. I find that in the morning I've cooled off and am able to be more logical and rational about whatever it was I was angry about. More than half the time, I realize it wasn't a big deal and was nothing to be mad about. But if I do reflect on it and I'm still upset, I'm then able to approach it in a way where we can both talk about it and see each other's perspective rather than just knee-jerk emotional reactions. Story 29. Don't do everything together. Have some singular hobbies or interests, and it should be okay to have friends your spouse hardly ever or never meets. It's great if you can spend all your time with your spouse, but in over 30 years of marriage myself and with all the married people we've met, don't. The wife and I do a lot together, but we aren't lost or no fun without each other present, and we each do activities the other doesn't, enjoyably. Story 30. So many people are unhappy, or they've trained themselves to expect the bare minimum from their partner. Women in the break room at work complain about their husbands all the time. They seem so tired, so misunderstood. Once, my husband made me lunch with hard-shell tacos, but put the lid on the Tupperware while it was hot after I warned him not to, so everything got all squishy. I made a comment in the lunchroom, something like, that's weird, normally he listens to me, maybe it was just a stupid mistake. And the other women got so upset. My husband never helps with anything, you need to be grateful. This is a generational difference, you expect too much. Well, at least he's trying. I went home and told my husband about all their comments. He laughed and sarcastically said, yeah, shut up and eat your mushy slop. Story 31. At 21 years of successful, albeit tight at times, marriage, 3 kids, middle-class earners, we have a few non-negotiables. Brutal honesty is first, from bad breath to desires, and a good intimate life is paramount, one where you match each other's drive at the very least. If she's a take-it-or-leave-it kind of gal and your drive has left you alone most of the time, it's going to come to a head. Words are like toothpaste. Don't say something you'll regret. We're guilty of violating this at times, though. Keep your dirty laundry to yourself. We're only super close confidants, but don't constantly trauma dump on them either. And keep your crap together. Okay, married 20 years, want to give up on staying clean or fit or be lazy? Guess what? Total relationship ender. I guarantee you're 100% more attractive at 170 pounds than you are at 220 pounds. My wife finds me the hottest when I'm engaged and involved in the house and family. Built that deck? I'm getting some tonight. Put the laundry away? Yeah, boy. Getting some good lovin'. Played with your kids and spent time together? That back rub is so much sweeter. Keep putting in the work. If you quit, she's going to quit. Simple as that. Intimacy is going to get boring, but it's necessary in my opinion. Go out and flirt and be flirted with. Hit up a resort or a club. Only if you have a healthy relationship, though. It's not an excuse to cheat. You don't have to engage, but it's hot and fun. Enjoy and don't give up. Story 32. Been with my husband for 16 years as of last month. Every problem is a problem the two of you tackle together. If your argument is starting as you versus me, I'm right and you're wrong, you've both already lost. You're in this together. Every problem should be something you work on together. Relationships will be hard sometimes, but there is a balance. I've had too many friends, I think, ascribe to this idea that if a relationship is the right fit, it will be super easy, you'll never fight, and it'll never be uncomfortable. And if you do fight or things do get hard, it's because the relationship isn't right for you. Absolute garbage. There will be difficult times. You will disagree and even argue sometimes. It absolutely should not be like that a lot, and if you feel like it's too difficult, you should reevaluate. But struggle happens in any kind of relationship. Like Dr. Kelso says, nothing worth having comes easy. My husband and I got together as emotionally immature, damaged teenagers. We had some fights that lasted most of the night at first. We stayed together and grew as a couple because we were willing to sit down and figure it out. Story 33. Sometimes having intimate time when you don't feel like it helps, especially if you have young kids. Obviously, I'm not saying to feel pressured into saying yes when you really want to say no or that you should do this all the time, but sometimes my husband will initiate intimacy, and in the moment, I'm like, ugh, I'm so tired, I don't want to. But I know that once we get going, I'll enjoy myself. So I push through the initial ugh, and I'm always glad I did because I have a great time and it helps us stay connected while we have a 4-year-old and a 6-month-old who sucks the life out of us. See, also, scheduling intimate time. At first, you're like, this is so deeply unsexy. But like, when you work full-time and have a family to look after, you can't rely on spontaneity. Story 34. A guy friend who's now been married over 20 years gave me this tip shortly before they married. 3 bank accounts. 1 joint account that each party pays a sum into. The combined payments cover all standard monthly expenses. 2 current accounts, 1 for each person, which their wages are paid into. Once the expenses payment has gone into the joint account, the leftover is their own. Stops a lot of arguments. It's anecdotal to a degree, but I also know of a few couples who have just the 1 singular joint account once they were a serious item, and money arguments about non-bill spending are common. Story 35. 50-50 is not a marriage, but 100-100 will last you a lifetime. If you're a good cook, give it 100%. If they are good at budgeting, give it 100%. We play and laugh a lot, pillow fights, cold hands, jokes, animal sounds, dance, sing to each other, just silly stuff. We never intentionally hurt one another. We enjoy each other immensely, but also are individuals who have our own interests. We love hard. Story 36. The reality is that housework, duties, etc. aren't 50-50. You each give 100%, and that often means you divide and conquer. My husband doesn't ever cook, and I don't ever pay bills or do yard work. Things are split unequally, and you'll lose your mind trying to make it even or fair. You just have to give it your all with someone who does the same. And I never speak unkind words about my husband to anyone ever. Sure, I talk about challenges we're having with my sister or closest friends, but always with respect and acknowledgement that we are both responsible, and I'm always careful to talk about him like the good guy that he is. Story 37. Don't take your frustrations out on them. They are not your verbal punching bag to be used for negatively venting. You may not even realize you are doing it. You may think that is normal to verbally take your stress out on each other. The thing is, we all have our limits, and you won't realize how much you've been acting up until they have had enough and leave. Then it all becomes clear, and you look back and think, was I really that unnecessarily negative to my other half, the person I love most in this world? I do not recognize that insulting person as me. Who is that? It's hard, but we can be so blind to how we act to those we are so familiar with. You have to be the person to recognize this fault and not rely on your partner to point it out, because by the time they recognize it, their love for you may have completely diminished after being chipped away at time and time again. Be kind to each other. Story 38. It's not happy wife, happy life, it's happy spouse, happy house. It should never be just about one person being happy all the time, but each person putting in the effort to make each other happy and putting in the work to be happy and fulfilled. Also, it's not me versus my husband, it's me and my husband versus the problem. We don't always have the same side of the argument, but we sit down and hear each other out, and often we can see it from each other's side so that we can find a common middle ground and find a way to tackle the issue together. Marriage isn't 50-50. Divorce is 50-50. Marriage requires both people putting in 100% of their effort, and on days that one cannot put in 100%, the other needs to be willing to carry the load. I have chronic pain and illnesses, and my husband hates seeing me suffer. But he knows that what may look like only giving 30% effort to some is me giving it my all, and he's willing to step up and hold my hand through the suffering and fight alongside me. My husband also has heart issues, so I know what his limitations are as well. We're not going to fight over dishes not being done or other chores because we know we each have limits that are worse some days more than others, and so we talk it out, see where each other is at, build a plan, and move forward. Story 39. There's never a reason to fight. Fights in relationships are childish BS. If something that comes up is worth fighting over, it's much more worth actually discussing between two rational people that want to find an answer together. Or an act was committed so beyond acceptable that you should just tell them to screw off and stop dealing with them in any way at all. There's no in between. If you think you're having fights but working it out, you're just making each other miserable but unwilling to make the real break, and so many couples are doing this. Also, if your partner needs to have fights and is unwilling to discuss things without it becoming a fight, one or both of you is too messed up to be doing a relationship. Story 40. Married over 30 years, raised multiple children, adopted children, and now have grandkids. I'll be honest, what works for us is not going to work for you. What worked for you would not work for me. My wife is my partner, and I have to learn to love her how she needs to be loved, and she has had to learn to love me the way I need to be loved. She is my best friend, and I want to spend as much time with her as I can. There are common traits to most happy marriages: sharing the load of chores, splitting bills, and maintaining intimacy in your marriage. The closer your goals are in your relationship, the stronger your marriage will be. These are the usual answers, but really that should be common sense. The rest of the advice that I or anyone else can give you is nonsense. Don't have kids, do have kids, separate bedrooms, same bedroom, snuggle, don't snuggle, plan intimacy, always be spontaneous, different hobbies, hobbies together, etc. All of it is noise. No one knows your relationship better than you do. Invest your energy into your partner, learn how they need to be loved, learn what makes them happy, and do those things. As long as your partner is returning the energy, you will be married the rest of your lives, assuming what you are doing is healthy. Story 41. Don't dwell on things. They will make mistakes, and so will you. Don't get lost in the other person. You each need to be individuals, and their personality is not a reflection of yours. Don't be crappy. Do offer to help. Don't keep score. Find at least one thing you both love to do and do it together. Don't do everything together. Story 42. 16 years, 20 together, personal care, work out and keep fit, look good for you and your partner. Physical attraction helps a lot. Maintain this. Take an interest in your partner's hobbies and what they consider fun. When doing things together, remember it doesn't always have to be things you feel are fun. Take and give. Find time for yourselves, movies, shows, dinner. Find time, make time. Be sure to let your partner you enjoy her or his company. Lastly, when your partner says something mean, it will happen. Be sure to make sure they know that you did not like that. Normally, it's best to wait until after you have cooled off. If your partner is mad at you, interrupt them and tell them you love them and you can't be talking like this to each other. My wife and I have an agreement to never swear at each other. These are some of the things that worked for us. Story 43. There are a few. My wife and I have been together 10 years. We have 4 kids, including GGB triplets that are 3.5 and absolutely feral. Ha ha ha. The adversity has actually brought us closer together, and we have to do the cliche thing and communicate all the time. We both agree we would never want to face those challenges with anyone else. That communication means we have to talk about everything, good or bad, and plan time for just the two of us. This has made us much closer and even more affectionate with each other. We plan dates, walks, going to the gym, and even doing separate things for ourselves. Part of a good relationship is having some separate interests and supporting each other in those. Talking about personal and team goals and how those are progressing is important. Having some shared interests too is important. My wife and I both love the gym. We can't often get to it together, but we make sure we each have some time to go alone or with someone. She takes her sister often, and I take my brother-in-law and my nieces to the gym. Over the past 5 years, I would say our marriage has gotten stronger in many ways. Story 44. A few things we have always maintained in our relationship. We have always continued to date each other. It's important to make time for each other and not one person making the dates. Guys want to feel desired too. This also carries over to in the bedroom. Don't let the guy do all the initiating. Communication, communication, communication. We put each other first. It is important for our kids to see a loving, healthy relationship and one that is an equal partnership. That doesn't always mean 50-50. That means when one person is overwhelmed, the other steps up. Some weeks it may be 100 to 0, 70 to 30, whatever it is. We are all on the same team and teammates support one another. Love yourself. Your spouse married you because they love you and your imperfections. Really let that sink in and be comfortable in your own skin. This was a hard one for me, but our intimate life improved dramatically when I learned to really love me. We just celebrated our 20th last month. Story 45. My wife and I always say that being married is much easier than people make it out to be. We're fortunate to have never had any issues. We've also gone through some very difficult things together that may have made us even stronger. Communicate about everything, be respectful, understand love languages, have the same goals financially but still do fun things. Be an example for our kids by showing our love for one another to them. Keep God at the center of the relationship. This is our number one, but I understand there are some people who aren't religious. Story 46. I used to bartend at weddings for a venue. The DJ would almost always do an anniversary dance, invite all the married couples onto the dance floor for a slow song, and then every 15 seconds or so, he'd ask newer and then older couples to leave the floor. 5 years married, then 10 years, then 15. Eventually, you'd get to a couple that had been together for a very long time, always sweet-looking, elderly folks, and you just love to see it. Then the DJ would ask what their secret was. Maybe it's a regional thing, but nearly every couple said the exact same thing. Don't go to bed angry. Easy answer, makes perfect sense, right? Don't let your anger seethe into resentment. The thing is, I think a lot of people take it too literally, meaning they think, hey, we're fighting and we should resolve this fight before we go to bed. That there ought to be a closure at the end of the day. But marital conflict in my 16 years married doesn't tend to happen at convenient hours when things are going well. It usually is the result of a ramp up of chaos when responsibilities converge, work, kids, house upkeep, bills, etc. And you find yourself exploding out of nowhere when it's either almost day's end or when you have 100 more things to take care of before you sleep. You feel awful and they feel awful, and sometimes all that you can do is just go to bed, sleep it off, then come back and talk things through. Marriage works best when there is common understanding, and sometimes the end of the day is just an arbitrary deadline that simply can't be met. Sometimes space and time is good and necessary. Just don't let things fester and then talk it out if you're feeling something's wrong. And if any of these stories got to you too, here's more for us. YouTube thinks we're going to love this. I'll catch you in that video.